Have you ever felt like you hit rock bottom? Like no matter how hard you try, you just seem to fail? You give it your all, yet the results don't show it. The fear of failure, the sting of rejection, the doubt creeping in. It's enough to make anyone want to quit. But what if I told you, failure isn't the end? What if, instead of being a roadblock, failure is the beginning of your greatest success? Today, we're going to change the way you think about failure. I'm going to show you how what you see as failure is actually the first step toward achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. Stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to turn your failures into your greatest triumphs. Let's start by addressing a misconception we've all been taught. From a young age, we're told that failure is bad, that it's something to be avoided at all costs. You've been conditioned to think that failure means you're not good enough, not smart enough, or simply not cut out for success. But what if everything you've been taught about failure is wrong? Think of this. When you were a kid, you fell down each and every time while trying to learn how to walk, ride a bike, or even try to tie your shoes. You made mistakes, you failed. But do you quit? No. You go because you know that it's not the end of the line. It is just a part of the learning process. In the course of this, we start fearing failure along the line. We start shying away, thinking that failure means we are not worthy. But failure is not the enemy. It's an opportunity. Failure is your teacher, not your punishment. This would imply an invitation to learn, grow, and get better. So, why do we fear it so much as adults? Why do we let failure control us? The truth is, failure is not the end. It's the beginning. And when you start viewing failure as a tool for growth, that's when everything changes. So imagine if every time you fell learning to walk, you just gave up and said, "Well, I guess I'm never going to walk again." You'd still be crawling, right? So why do you treat failure as a roadblock now? Just don't let it stop you. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, artist, athlete, they've all faced failure. And you know what the difference is between them and those who quit? Perseverance. They didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel to keep going. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he did not quit. Instead, he said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." He saw every failure as a lesson, a step closer to success. And that's what we need to do too. When you fail, do not see it as a setback. See it as a lesson. You are not failing. You are learning. You are gaining experience, and with each failure, you get closer to your breakthrough. Now think about it. How many times have you failed and then thought, "I'm just not good enough"? We all have. But if we choose to give up after each failure, we're not learning anything. We're staying stuck. We're choosing to remain where we are instead of moving forward. You don't have to be afraid of failure. You don't have to be afraid of making mistakes. Every successful person has failed, and they've failed many times. The key is to keep going, to learn, and to use each failure as a stepping stone toward success. Do you know how to turn failure into fuel? Do you know how to use those setbacks as the stepping stones to success? It all begins with mindset. Instead of feeling, "I failed and that's the end," ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? What's the lesson here?" Each time you fail, you get a chance to get smarter, stronger, and more resilient. Use failure as the fuel to keep moving forward, to keep improving, and to keep reaching for your goals. Let me share another example. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because he was told he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Can you imagine? Disney, the man who went on to create one of the largest entertainment empires in the world, was once told he wasn't good enough. But he didn't let that failure define him. He kept pushing forward, kept believing in his vision. And today, Disney is a household name. Now ask yourself, how many times have people said you're not good enough? How many times were you rejected, and what did you do? If you quit, then you are letting the failure win. On the other hand, if you rise again knowing what each failure does to you, then every time you're moving toward success. When you start viewing failure as a tool for success, then your view of life changes. You start to stop avoiding it and actually start embracing it. And that is because the fact is, failure ain't the enemy. It's your best friend. It's the one thing that is going to teach you what doesn't work so that you can find out what does. Think of failure as feedback. Each time you fall, you're getting a little closer to your goal. Your mistake is just information, and the more information you gather, the closer you're getting to success. But here's the thing. No one warns you how many times you're going to fail before success greets you. Some people might get it right on the very first try. Others might have to try hundreds or thousands of times. And that's okay. The key is to keep going. You can't let fear of failure stop you. You must embrace it, learn from it, and then move forward stronger than before. So are you ready to start converting those failures of yours into successes? Because here's the deal. Your greatest triumphs can often be born in the ashes of your most painful failures. But there's a catch. Success doesn't happen because it's anything you just happen to want. It takes something more, something that most people are afraid to give. And it's the reason why most people will never achieve what you're capable of. Want to know what that secret ingredient is? It's the courage to keep going, to push through failure again and again. That's the only thing separating those who succeed from those who give up. So now it's up to you. Are you going to keep letting failure stop you? Or are you going to rise, learn, and keep pushing forward? The choice is yours. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of your greatest success. Now get out there, fail, learn, and rise. Because your best self is waiting on the other side of your struggles. So if you are willing to take that first step forward or face failure head on and turn it into fuel for your success, then join us. Subscribe to this channel. Share this message with someone who needs it, and let's make sure that failure doesn't hold us back. It pushes us forward. Your journey doesn't end here. It starts now. Take your mistakes, learn from them, and take you higher than you ever imagined. Because success is not a destination. It's the result of every lesson, every failure, and every courageous step you take. Thanks for watching. Remember, failure just begins your success story. To subscribe for more motivational subscription tips and stories that will help you conquer the fears that hold you back from meeting your deepest dreams. The world awaits your greatness.